I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today is a day when the Security Council and the international community must raise its voice in favor of peace, security, the UN Charter, and international law. Each one of the delegations in this room represents a sovereign state. And no one should try to urge them or dictate to them how to interpret international law, the UN Charter, and how to exercise their own conscience. We will never have any qualms to vote as dictated by international law, the UN Charter, our conscience, and law. Today's meeting confirms that the United States, Great Britain, and France, permanent members of the Security Council, continue to put international politics and diplomacy in the realm of myth-making. Myths invented in London, Paris, and Washington. This is a dangerous aberration. It is a diplomacy of myth-making, of hypocrisy, of falsehoods, and of substitution of ideas and notions. If we continue down this path, we'll soon reach the diplomacy of the absurd. You're creating these myths, and then you're forcing everyone to try to believe in these myths. We put facts and contrary to your myths and the picture of what is actually taking place in real life. But you're not seeing this. You're not hearing this. You don't want to see it. You're simply disregarding what we are telling you. You have invented a legend about this constant resolution that is being put forward and you provoke Russia to veto it, so as to present this whole situation in a favorable light. You distort international law by substituting important notions and concepts. You are engaged in open hypocrisy. You're demanding a conduct of an investigation, and even before the investigation, you appoint those who are guilty and punish them. Why didn't you wait for the outcome of the investigation which you yourself called for? The Security Council is in a state of paralysis because of you, because of your constant attempts to hoodwink the international community. You're not only placing yourselves above international law, but you're trying to rewrite international law. You contravene international law and you contravene international law while trying to convince everyone that your actions are legitimate. The representative of the United Kingdom, to justify the airstrikes, pointed to 3 reasons based on the concept of humanitarian intervention. Now, you're trying to substitute the UN Charter for this. This is precisely, we and other countries did not support that concept in the past and continue not to support it now, because we don't want this to become a justification for your crime. Once again, we demand immediate stop to aggression and refrain from the illegal use of force in the future. Today, you once again demonstrated to the entire world your illicit games. In the Soviet times, there was a brochure which was called "Whence the Threat of Peace Comes From." In that brochure, it spoke of military preparations by Washington and the NATO countries. Nothing has changed. That is precisely whence the threat of to peace continues to come from. Just look at what is being said and which drums of war are being beaten in Washington. Covering, using the cover of of hypocrisy and the interest in democracy and human rights. Now, this is from note 507, and I can't give you a list of all these things that in that note. It's too long. I can mention other examples about how the French president expressed an interest in the investigation in Duma and was ready to send French experts in his conversations with President Putin. Then all of a sudden that just evaporated because a different algorithm was launched. That's quite obvious. Today is a very sad day, Mr. President. It's a sad day for the world, for the UN, for its charter, which was blatantly violated. For the Security Council also, which has shirked its responsibilities. I would like to believe that we will not see a day that is worse than today. Thank you very much.
I thank the representative of the Russian Federation for his statement.